the debate over how to handle homeless encampments in several Maine communities continues, several state lawmakers are proposing legislative action. The legislature has released a list of working titles of bill requests for the upcoming session. That list includes an act to prohibit clearing encampments of unhoused individuals and an act to prohibit clearing of unhoused encampments without providing proper housing options, proposed by a representative from Bangor. The list also includes an act to establish sanctioned areas for emergency encampments in certain municipalities and an act to prohibit certain municipalities from enforcing moratoria on emergency shelters, from a representative from Portland. The text for the bills has not been submitted, so the exact details of the proposals are still unclear.